Hey, welcome to the Toadstead project. Well, for those of you who've been with the channel for a while know that gardening has been part of what we do. Last year it was kind of a small part. We focused on some other stuff. This year, thanks to a really good friend and the fact that we needed to, we have come back with a vengeance. Now, this is sort of the beginning, but not really. What you see right in front of you here is half of this set of 5 rows. Half of it's corn, half of it's peas. And it's just about time to thin this. In fact, that's what we're gonna do today. But what you might notice, for those of you who've been on the channel for a while, is the garden has gotten dramatically bigger. It's pretty much doubled in size. And besides our usual, which is the Asian long beans, we're doing carrots and all that, we are going to do peanuts. Do we know what we're doing? No. We're doing like a lot of y'all do. We're watching all the videos we can, learning. We've got the seed, we're ready. And you can see off in the distance, there's some markers as to what's planted right in front of you here. And pretty much everything that way is peanuts. But notice the nice straight rows. Okay, they're not pretty, they're not perfect, but we had a friend of ours allow us to use a piece of equipment that made this kind of thing possible. In fact, we got a little overzealous and had to back off because our watering system only waters pretty much what you see right here. But you think I'm here to show you the garden. Well, no, I'm actually here to show you the gardens. Be right back. All right, well, I'm gonna stay back here. 2 reasons. Number one, it's just a long way over there. No, not really. I just don't want you to have to listen to the Yahoo over there on the lawnmower. They just decided today, of all days, at this time of all times, to get it done. But I'm standing in the shade, so I'll stand back here and tell you. Now that one there, that garden is about 30 by 60. A lot bigger than it looks from here. And you can see some of the leftover moisture from running the irrigation this morning. Up there, or basically 1/2 of it, is again corn and peas. We are looking to can a bunch of creamed corn and peas, and also to freeze some ears of corn. The other half, you guessed it, all peanuts. We're gonna really try and, seed's relatively cheap, and another thing I'll show you in a couple of minutes made this possible this year. We were really happy to get this done. This is the back half. This is the property. Let me give you a little run around. There's some beehives. This is the back acre that we delayed building our cabin to purchase. And we really want to do something with it. We're thinking about fencing in some animals. The bees, which you saw during that turnaround, are being moved up into that little copse of trees. We're going to be putting all our beehives up in there. And I'm going to make a video on that pretty soon so you get to see that. But we wanted to see if we can make the land somewhat productive. Now this started out as a burn pile, but number one, we didn't have the hoses to reach back here, and we didn't want to burn without having a lot of water. And along the way, this really turned into a really nice raspberry patch. I'm not going to take y'all around it, but the missus has pulled out a bunch, pretty much just here in a couple small places, has already pulled 1.5 gallons of raspberries. So you know what? That's staying. we might thin it down a little bit later, but for the most part, that's staying. Anyway, this is our attempt to make the land, I guess, arable, plantable, whatever you want to call it. Back here, that's really the only flat spot. Try not to make you ill. Besides this one I'm almost standing on, which we want to kind of set aside for future animal use. There's a little plateau here about 60 by 60 that we want to hold back for possible animal use. But we're going to give that a whirl, and we'll do occasional updates and see how it's going. Now let's go see what made that possible. All right, well, here's the big reason that the the expansion that you see took place. A real good friend of mine, his family had this tractor out at their little farm, and while the dad, my friend's dad, did a little bit of farming, my friend is his son, which means, you know, we're all upper middle-aged people, and pretty much all the generations after my friend's dad, they really weren't interested in doing a whole lot of farming. So the machines just sat, and well, we offered to do what we could to get the implements straightened out and working. And of course, you know, we're really good friends, and he knew what I was trying to do out here. So he has let me use the tractor, and we're doing little things to get it and the implements squared away. Now all we've done on the tractor so far is just clean up and paint the exhaust and to put the little cap on there. I know, no big deal, but you know, the whole redneck coffee can thing just didn't appeal to me. And we're gonna do some more on this tractor, but we'll give you an idea of some of the stuff we've done on the other implements. And here's the disc. This was well, that's what we used to get it to go from grass to garden. And pretty much all we had to do with this was take some bits of it apart and just scrape all the rust off. There's a lot of rust on this thing. And then paint over with primer and paint. And we did everything but the actual blades themselves. Kind of figured that'd be a waste of time. But if my friend chooses not to do any more farming after he gets this back, at least this has a better shot of lasting sitting out in the yard. Now, show you a couple other things. I really wish that I could show you the bush hog. The bush hog was in really, really rough condition, and we were we welded about 4 or 5 square feet of steel into it to get it to be safely run, but we've already delivered it, and it's just kind of an overview anyway. There's the box blade, and see if I can keep my shadow out. Right above the blade there's a lot of rust. I don't know if this is safe to use, but it's going to take a lot, by my standards anyway, to get that blade off. It's not a bad box blade to start with. It's just like a lot of the stuff just got sitting too long. It's got the rear blade so you can run it backwards too. But actually in that view you can see the daylight coming through some of the rusty spots. Now what we're hoping is we can get all the bolts out, or however we need to get them out, and that we can weld in steel to reinforce those spots, then put the blade back together again and use it. This was actually the next thing in line. That is a cultivator, excuse me, that's a planter. That's a Covington planter. And that's probably the last thing we're going to work on. Let's go show you what we're working on now. Okay, we're inside the shop here, and this frame is kind of sitting like that on its back. You can see the 3 points here. And this is the cultivator. I apologize if the audio changes. My Bluetooth's going in and out. Yeah, we have our neighbor over here running the lawnmower. So let him go away. But up here are some of the tines. And again, this was just a lot of cleaning and some disassembly, and then just primer and paint. We didn't bother with the blades for the obvious reason, but on the way out, maybe we'll show you what that looks like when it's all put back together again. All right, and there's the cultivator all put back together again with its blades on. And I guess we're going to move on to the box blade next, but that'll be another video. More tractor stuff later. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Fair winds, and we'll see you next time around.